An area businessman faces time behind bars after being charged with tax evasion.
The office has been jailed over his role in a $105 million tax evasion conspiracy. The 36-year-old was considered one of the architects of the Plutus payroll fraud and was found guilty of 2 offences earlier this year. He's been handed a sentence of 15 years with a non-parole period of 10 years.
The digital streets are buzzing, the online world is on fire, and at the center of the inferno sits one of the most talked about platforms in internet culture. Whispers have turned into shouts, speculation into outright claims, and the temperature around No Jumper and its controversial figurehead, Adam22, has never been higher. What started as a seemingly simple guest appearance spiraled into an unprecedented level of chaos, exposing deep rifts and leading to rumors that threatened to shake the very foundation of the media empire built on interviews and internet drama. The aftershocks of a single unexpected event have unleashed a torrent of challenges, forcing Adam22 to navigate a storm of public opinion, internal conflict, and alarming claims about the platform's future, culminating in a headline that has sent shockwaves across the internet landscape. Adam22 arrested for bankruptcy. Goodbye forever. Is this the dramatic climax or just another chapter in the never-ending saga of No Jumper? The incident that kicked off this latest wave of turmoil was a textbook example of a small misunderstanding escalating into a full-blown crisis. Lush1, a personality associated with the No Jumper platform, extended an invitation to Travis Ford, a figure known within certain circles, under the guise of a casual appearance on a news-style podcast segment. The intention, as Lush reportedly understood it, was a low-key conversation, a standard guest spot that wouldn't require significant logistical preparation or security considerations. However, Travis Ford evidently held a drastically different interpretation of the invitation. He arrived at the No Jumper studio, located in the heart of Los Angeles, not alone, but accompanied by an entourage of approximately 100 individuals. This massive group reportedly included several people identified as known members of the Crips community, multiple camera crews capturing the scene, performers ready to showcase their talents, and astonishingly, even catered food, tacos, and cake, turning a planned podcast appearance into what was effectively an unsanctioned block party or hood day taking place at the doorstep of the No Jumper operation. Adam22, the founder and driving force behind No Jumper, was completely caught off guard by this spectacle. He was expecting a routine workday, with the studio running on what he later described as a skeleton crew, the minimal staff required for the day's planned activities, which
will get your name added to the end of all our videos, and it will also get you consistent advice and opinions on your music submissions with 1 free submission per month and discounted additional songs. Basically, we're just trying to do as much as possible for anybody who's down to join this tier. So we're going to hype you up on our live streams and try to really give you actual professional advice about what we think that you should do with your career and everything like that. And, you know, we're going to try to add even more value for that $100 tier as time goes by.
Certainly did not include hosting a 100+ person event. Upon seeing the sheer scale of the arrival, the crowd, the cameras, the food vendors, Adam immediately recognized the potential risks involved. Bringing such a large, unvetted group into a private business location without prior arrangement is a significant security concern, particularly given the diverse and sometimes volatile nature of the individuals and communities that intersect with No Jumper's content. Faced with this unexpected and potentially hazardous situation, Adam made a swift decision to deny entry to the entire entourage. This decision, while seemingly pragmatic from a security and business standpoint, instantly triggered a negative reaction from Travis Ford and his large group. They were not only turned away after arriving in force, but also began expressing their frustration and anger vocally. The situation quickly escalated from confusion to confrontation, with members of the group allegedly beginning to voice threats and making dramatic pronouncements, most notably claiming that No Jumper, and by extension Adam22, was now banned from LA. The scene outside the studio became a hotspot of verbal fallout and accusations. With cameras rolling and a large crowd present, the discontent was immediately captured and disseminated online. Members of Travis Ford's group felt disrespected and deceived, airing their grievances publicly. They accused Adam22 and No Jumper of poor management, lack of communication, and showing disrespect by turning away guests who had come in good faith from their perspective and invested time and resources like the catering. videos circulated rapidly across social media platforms, featuring individuals directing verbal attacks at Adam, suggesting he was scared, cowardly, and dismissive of their presence and intentions. This public shaming and the declaration of a ban added a significant layer of external pressure and controversy to the situation. In the wake of the incident and the ensuing online firestorm, the inevitable blame game unfolded. Adam22 took to his own platform, a common tactic for him to address controversies directly, to present his version of events and assign responsibility. He argued emphatically that the chaos was a direct result of Lush1's actions, or lack thereof. Adam claimed that Lush either actively lied about the nature and scale of Travis Ford's intended arrival, or demonstrated a severe failure in properly communicating the limitations and
and he even got kicked off the podcast that he left No Jumper to start, but somehow that's our reality and we have to fight this rather than just give in to this piece of shit. So as a result of all these circumstances, we are making some changes. Over the last few months, we laid off multiple employees in an attempt to reduce our expenses as much as possible. We closed down our store on Melrose, and we're in the early stages of selling our current warehouse and moving into a smaller space. To be honest, aside from the layoffs, which sucked, I'm pretty happy.
Expectations of the invitation. Adam stressed that No Jumper operates with established protocols for guest appearances and studio access, and that bringing such a massive unannounced group was a clear and unacceptable violation of these rules. He framed his decision to deny entry not as a sign of disrespect, but as a necessary measure to protect his business, his staff, and the integrity of his operations in the face of an unpredictable and potentially dangerous situation. The internal repercussions were immediate and highlighted deeper issues within the No Jumper organization. Lush1 was handed a 1-week suspension as a direct consequence of the incident. However, in his public commentary, Adam confessed that he felt even this disciplinary measure might be too lenient given the magnitude of the disruption and the potential negative ramifications for the platform. This controversy peeled back the curtain on challenges within No Jumper related to guest management, the effectiveness of internal communication channels, and the overall accountability of staff members when interacting with external parties and scheduling appearances. It raised questions about how such a significant misunderstanding could occur, and what safeguards were in place, or clearly weren't, to prevent similar incidents in the future. Later, Lush1 publicly addressed his role in the debacle, offering a response marked by a mixture of regret and an attempt to provide context for his actions. He admitted to being in a difficult mental and emotional state at the time, describing himself as being in a period of personal chaos. He suggested that his focus was significantly diverted by personal distractions and that these circumstances contributed to poor decision-making regarding the invitation. While accepting blame for his part in the miscommunication and mishandling of the situation, Lush also noted that Travis Ford's incessant messaging and enthusiastic descriptions of his plans for the day made the situation harder for him to accurately manage or predict the true scale of what was being organized. He painted a picture of being overwhelmed and potentially misled, even as he acknowledged his ultimate responsibility for allowing the situation to get out of hand. As details emerged, a narrative began to form, suggesting that beyond a simple misunderstanding of a podcast invite, Travis Ford may have had ulterior motives driving his actions. Reports indicated that a significant part of Travis's plan involved promoting a specific taco brand during his appearance, leveraging No Jumper's massive subscriber base, reportedly,
etc. And buying a space that cost that much didn't seem like a bad idea. It didn't seem like it was something that could potentially hurt the business. I also felt like we were growing so much and scaling up that we needed more and more room to grow. After 3 years in the same space, it's just kind of more clear to me that I know what this business is now. There's only so much content that we're going to be able to produce that is going to be profitable. And as a result, we just don't need a space that big. And granted,
around $4 million at the time, for a major PR opportunity. This suggests that the entire elaborate arrival, complete with catering, may have been a calculated move to transform a seemingly straightforward podcast appearance into a large-scale promotional event, potentially cloaked under the guise of a piece, meeting, or standard interview. This added a layer of perceived manipulation to the incident, further fueling the narrative of a deliberate disruption rather than just a communication error. The incident also highlighted how a misinterpretation, once set in motion, can be amplified significantly. While Travis Ford had reportedly hinted in previous communications with Lush that he intended to bring others with him, Lush apparently failed to grasp or anticipate the true scale of the plan. Entourage Lush may have envisioned Travis arriving with a few friends or associates, a common occurrence for podcast guests, but Travis evidently took that vague approval and expanded it exponentially. Planning and executing a large-scale production, this significant misjudgment on both sides, Lush's underestimation, and Travis's overinterpretation and ambitious planning fed directly into the resulting confrontation and blow-up, demonstrating how a lack of clear, explicit communication can have dramatic and unintended consequences in the high-stakes world of online media. In the immediate aftermath, an attempt was made to de-escalate the situation and achieve some form of resolution. Adam22 and Travis Ford reportedly had a phone conversation aimed at squashing their beef and moving past the incident. While the call was presented as a step towards peace, the fragility of the resolution was immediately evident. Travis Ford, in subsequent public statements, reportedly left the door wide open for future conflict, publicly declaring that he might still want war, depending on how he felt the following day. This statement underscored the tentative nature of any peace achieved and left the public wondering whether the issue was truly resolved or merely postponed, leaving public opinion divided on the sincerity of the reconciliation and the potential for future confrontations. As the dust settled from the immediate incident, one major question lingered: was No Jumper actually banned from LA? The declaration made by members of Travis Ford's group outside the studio was loud and clear, but the actual weight and implication of such a statement remained uncertain. Was it a genuine, enforceable decree from a significant community segment, or was it a more symbolic?
Impacted us. Number one, we have a lawsuit from this disgruntled bitch-ass employee, which we're dealing with, which, you know, that alone is not going to ruin our year or anything like that, but that's definitely been something that has been costing us a lot of money. We also lost our Instagram for about 7 months, but I do have to say, thanks to that big guy upstairs, we got it back 2 days after I made that video. We got the Instagram back, so that was definitely a consequence of making that video that I kind of foresaw. I actually
Emotional outburst in the heat of the moment? As of the conclusion of the video disseminating this information, the definitive status of any such ban was unclear, leaving it open to interpretation and speculation. The video ended by prompting viewers to draw their own conclusions, asking them to weigh the evidence and decide, was Adam at fault for his reaction and decision to deny entry? Was the backlash he received, including the threats and the ban declaration, overly harsh or a justified response to perceived disrespect? This tumultuous event, however, quickly became intertwined with even more alarming rumors circulating online. Rumors that No Jumper was facing severe financial difficulties, potentially leading to the platform's demise and even Adam22's personal legal troubles. The dramatic headline, Adam22 arrested for bankruptcy, goodbye forever, while likely a sensationalized piece of clickbait designed to capture attention, reflected a growing narrative fueled by perceived vulnerabilities within the No Jumper operation. This narrative suggests that the chaos of the Travis Ford incident was not an isolated event, but perhaps a symptom of deeper underlying issues that were impacting the platform's stability, including its financial health. One of the key elements fueling these bankruptcy rumors is the public perception of Adam22's lifestyle contrasted with the perceived financial reality of running a large independent media platform in a constantly evolving digital landscape. Adam is known for his public displays of wealth, including his collection of cars, hosting parties, and wearing expensive jewelry. To the casual observer, this lavish lifestyle projects an image of immense financial success. However, running a platform like No Jumper involves significant overhead costs, staffing, studio, space, equipment, production expenses, marketing, and legal fees. Especially given the controversial nature of some of its content. The rumors suggest that Adam's extravagant personal spending habits may be clashing with the actual revenue generated by No Jumper, potentially leaving the business financially stretched or vulnerable. Critics and speculators online ponder whether the income from interviews, merchandise, advertising, and platform sponsorships is truly sufficient to comfortably support both the business operations and Adam's personal expenditures, leading to questions about financial management and sustainability. Adam himself has often addressed aspects.
yeah, that was our last big hurrah. That's a fact.
Okay, now you and I had this conversation about this, so I have an interesting perspective on it. And I was kind of playing with it on Twitter. I was like, should I buy No Jumper? Then I'm like, oh, I'm finalizing the sale of No Jumper. What job should I give Adam? Because I knew the comments were going to be comedy.
A couple people hit me up. You need to fade Vlad for this. I'm like, that is not the appropriate conclusion.
Aspects of his finances, sometimes discussing the costs of running the business or defending his lifestyle as a reward for his hard work and success. He might argue that his spending is funded by various income streams, including his personal endeavors outside of No Jumper, or that investments in certain assets are strategic. However, the perception of a disconnect between visible wealth and the inherent challenges of the digital media business continues to feed the rumor mill. Another significant factor discussed in the context of potential financial woes is the series of controversial business decisions that have plagued No Jumper. The platform has a history of dramatic staff departures and controversial hirings that none have played out publicly, often leading to online drama and negative press. Each instance of internal conflict can disrupt operations, potentially impact content quality, and alienate audiences or business partners. Furthermore, the platform operates in a highly competitive environment where maintaining consistent high YouTube viewership numbers is crucial for ad revenue. While No Jumper has a large subscriber base, shifts in algorithms, viewer interests, and platform trends can impact viewership, potentially affecting income. Questionable sponsorships or partnerships that fall through or generate negative reactions can also hurt finances. The rumors suggest that a pattern of decisions, whether related to personnel, content strategy, or external partnerships, may have negatively impacted the platform's financial performance over time. Adam has often defended his business decisions as necessary steps to adapt to the changing digital landscape or maintain creative control. He might argue that tough calls are part of running a dynamic business, and that the platform is constantly innovating to stay relevant and profitable. Despite these defenses, the public nature of the internal drama and its potential link to business stability remains a point of speculation. The widespread backlash from various segments of the hip-hop community and other groups has also been cited as a potential contributor to No Jumper's challenges, which could indirectly impact its financial health. No Jumper's content often involves candid, sometimes controversial interviews with figures from the hip-hop world and internet culture. While this has built its audience, it has also led to numerous feuds, disagreements, and instances of alienation, clashes with prominent rappers, as well as the recent incident involving the Crips community and the subsequent banned from LA threat highlight.
And then they said, nah, sorry, bro, you can't comment. Now, apparently the situation got so dire that they wouldn't leave. Like, for example, they came at about 11 a.m., 11:55, 11:50. They were out there until the news was over around like 2 p.m. So they was out there for about 2 hours and they wouldn't leave. Eventually, the police gets called. And this is where they went from bringing a cake for No Jumper because they appreciate No Jumper.
The potential for alienating key figures and entire communities that are vital to the cultural relevance and reach of the platform. If artists refuse to appear on the platform, or if segments of the audience disengage due to perceived disrespect or controversial content, this can impact viewership, reduce the platform's appeal to advertisers and sponsors, and potentially limit opportunities for revenue generation. Adam has often taken a defiant stance against such backlash, asserting his right to cover topics and interview individuals he deems relevant. Even if it causes controversy, he might view such conflicts as the cost of operating an unfiltered platform, or even as generating publicity. However, the rumors suggest that this cumulative alienation could be silently eroding the platform's support base and impacting its bottom line. Adam22's stance throughout these controversies, including the Travis Ford incident and the subsequent financial rumors, has generally been one of defiance, directness, and a focus on maintaining control over his platform. He often addresses criticisms head-on, sometimes dismissively, and asserts his authority as the owner and primary decision maker at No Jumper. In the face of the alarming Adam22 arrested for bankruptcy headlines, it is highly probable that Adam would view these claims as blatant misinformation, clickbait, designed to damage his reputation and his business. He would likely frame them as attacks from individuals or groups who wish to see him fail, perhaps fueled by jealousy or animosity stemming from past conflicts. While he might acknowledge the challenges of running a media business in a volatile online environment, he would likely push back strongly against any suggestion of imminent financial collapse or legal trouble related to bankruptcy, presenting his platform as resilient and forward-looking despite the external noise. The two narratives, the chaos of the Travis Ford incident and the swirling rumors of financial distress, become intertwined in the public perception of No Jumper's current state. The incident exposed potential weaknesses in internal processes and guest management, highlighting how easily things can go wrong and create public relations nightmares. These visible signs of turmoil can then fuel existing whispers or create new ones about the platform's overall stability, including its financial footing. The dramatic nature of the events feeds the narrative of a platform potentially in crisis, making sensational headlines about bankruptcy, even if
wakes up with some type of revelation that Lush done effed up too badly to bring back, bro, we might see a second crash out tomorrow. But what I would disagree with when it comes to Adam is saying that he don't believe it's the guys who pull up fault, is Lush's fault entirely. Is Lush fault? Yes. Right? Especially after the leaked video came out, it's Lush's fault for sure. But I'm not taking the blame off the dudes who pull up. I'm not taking the blame off Travis Ford. If somebody invites you, even if they say, hey, bro, you can bring a couple of people, I don't think that person's expectation is you're going to come with 40 people, you're going to come with cake, you're going to come with 60 tacos, you're going to come with a whole production crew, you're going to come with mics to film a music video. Like, I don't think that person's expectation would be you're going to turn a No Jumper facility into your hood day.
Founded seem plausible to some online observers. The internet thrives on drama and speculation, and No Jumper by its very nature is often at the center of it. Ultimately, the situation surrounding No Jumper remains dynamic and subject to constant scrutiny. The fallout from the Travis Ford incident exposed vulnerabilities and ignited a firestorm of online discussion. Simultaneously, rumors about the platform's financial health, exacerbated by sensational headlines, continue to circulate, prompting questions about the long-term viability of the operation, while the arrest for bankruptcy headline is likely a dramatic exaggeration. Found in the click-driven corners of the internet, the fact that such rumors gain traction speaks to the climate of uncertainty surrounding No Jumper amidst its frequent controversies and internal challenges. Whether these challenges represent temporary setbacks or indicators of deeper issues remains to be seen, leaving the platform's future uncertain in the eyes of many. For all the latest updates on this evolving situation and other breaking news in the world of internet culture, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Torrent of Challenges. Facing No Jumper and Adam22 doesn't stop at public controversies and the perception of a lavish lifestyle potentially outstripping business reality. Adding fuel to the fire of bankruptcy whispers is the uncomfortable elephant in the room that often accompanies high-profile internet personalities and dynamic business ventures: the specter of legal troubles and costly lawsuits. In the cutthroat world of online, media disagreements, contractual disputes, intellectual property claims, and even fallout from controversial statements can quickly escalate into legal battles that drain resources, whether through expensive litigation or confidential settlements. While the details of any specific legal entanglements behind the scenes of No Jumper are not always public knowledge, the sheer volume of interactions, guest appearances, and sometimes volatile content creation opens the door to potential legal challenges. Speculation circulates online that behind the dramatic public controversies, there could be unseen legal pressures mounting. Running a platform that discusses sensitive topics and hosts a wide array of personalities inherently carries risks of defamation claims if comments are deemed false and damaging. Disagreements with former staff or collaborators could lead to disputes over intellectual property or contract breaches, potentially resulting in
They thought that this was all good. I blame Lush. So Lush is now on a 1-week suspension. I don't even know. Honestly, I'm so pissed off that 1 week of a suspension does not really seem like enough. But I just want to say to anybody who felt like they had their time wasted today and all that shit, it didn't have anything to do with us. If you are on the No Jumper schedule, you're supposed to be coming in. Trust me, there's an actual process to it. You will speak to somebody that is going to give you the information. And there's a cap. You could pull up with like 3 people. You can't pull up with 40 people. It's not happening. So I can't really even blame anybody who pulled up. I can only blame Lush because this is just insane.
It looks like No Jumper may be down 1 employee because they saying Lush 1 is suspended, but Adam is saying, I don't think a week suspension is good enough. If Adam goes to bed,
costly settlements to avoid protracted court battles, even disputes over music rights, video usage, or other content creation. Elements can become legal quagmires. Each such legal challenge, whether resolved quietly or fought publicly, carries a significant financial cost. Attorney fees alone can run into the hundreds of thousands, and settlements or judgments can amount to substantial sums that could undoubtedly impact a business's bottom line. If No Jumper has faced multiple such challenges concurrently or large individual claims, even if successfully defended in part, the cumulative financial strain could be considerable. Adam might privately or publicly acknowledge the challenging legal landscape, perhaps stating that dealing with legal threats is just a cost of doing business in the internet age, or that he has had to fight off frivolous lawsuits designed to harass him. However, the whispers suggest that the volume or severity of these potential legal battles could be more significant than publicly revealed, potentially contributing to the financial pressures discussed in the bankruptcy rumors. The sheer potential for legal challenges in the space No Jumper occupies lends a certain weight in the eyes of speculators to the idea that unforeseen legal expenditures could be a factor in any perceived financial instability. This brings the narrative to a broader point of discussion among observers of the platform: the perceived decline of the No Jumper empire. From its origins, No Jumper carved out a unique niche, particularly within hip-hop culture, becoming a go-to platform for candid, in-depth interviews with rising stars and established figures alike. At its peak popularity, it wielded significant influence, capable of breaking artists and shaping narratives within the culture. However, charting its trajectory over recent years, many commentators observe what they see as a slow but steady decline from that zenith. This perceived decline isn't necessarily about a sudden crash in viewership across the board, but rather a chipping away at its cultural dominance, consistency, and positive public image, often punctuated by major internal and public controversies. Major internal shakeups, such as the public departures and subsequent feuds with prominent co-hosts who were popular figures in their own right, undoubtedly took a toll. These events weren't just internal staff changes, they were public spectacles that divided the audience and led to the loss of key personalities who contributed to the platform's appeal. Each public feud, whether with former
Adam22 responds back to the Crips banning No Jumper from LA. This situation is crazy. If you aren't already tapped in with the situation, let's do a quick recap. So Lush One invited this guy by the name of Travis Ford to No Jumper to come and do the news. Travis Ford took that as an invitation to bring 100 people with him. So 100 Crips showed up with cake, with tacos, with an open mic, a production crew, and Adam is like, yo, what's going on? Lush One never told us about this. We ain't know 100 you guys were supposed to be here. Y'all can't come in, bro. This is too much. So then Travis Ford and who he was with, they proceeded to say F No Jumper, and No Jumper is banned from LA because they couldn't come in and podcast with No Jumper.
Adam scary ass let us in.
Travis Ford, cuz, what's going on, cuz?
Stop playing. Less invited us. Nigga.
No.
Nigga, y'all
Adam,
be
what?
And culture cuz into the whole
employees, guests, or other internet figures creates negative headlines and can alienate segments of the audience or industry professionals. The Travis Ford incident is just the latest, albeit one of the most physically dramatic examples of a public controversy that generates significant negative attention and reinforces a narrative of chaos surrounding the platform. Critics point to these recurring dramas as distractions that detract from the core content, suggesting they have eroded the platform's credibility or desirability as a neutral space for conversation. Furthermore, the competitive landscape of online content creation is constantly evolving, with new platforms and personalities emerging. Maintaining consistent viewer engagement and relevance requires constant innovation and adaptation. Some argue that amidst the internal and external drama, No Jumper has struggled to adapt effectively, leading to a plateau or even a dip in its overall influence compared to its peak. Adam might counter this by highlighting the platform's longevity and continued output, arguing that adapting to the internet landscape involves navigating controversy and that viewership fluctuates for any long-running channel. He might assert that the platform remains a significant force despite the challenges. However, the perception among many is that the constant stream of controversies has taken a cumulative toll, impacting brand image, potential sponsorship deals, and overall audience enthusiasm, all of which could contribute to financial pressures. Given the swirling rumors, the perceived decline, and the backdrop of continuous controversy, the sensational headline, Adam22 arrested for bankruptcy, goodbye forever, forces a hypothetical question among online observers. Where is Adam now? If hypothetically the platform were to face such an insurmountable financial crisis, what would be Adam22's next move? Theorizing about Adam's actions in such a drastic scenario inevitably ties back to his known personality and history. Adam is widely perceived as driven, resilient, and deeply connected to the internet and content creation world he helped shape. Seems highly improbable that he would simply disappear from the public eye entirely. His identity is so intertwined with his online presence and his platform that a complete retreat would be a dramatic departure from everything known about him more. Likely, in a hypothetical scenario where No Jumper as it currently exists became untenable due to financial or legal.
A terrifying moment as a popular podcaster is attacked at gunpoint. It happened as he streamed live on YouTube.
It was pretty much just pure shock.
Adam Grandmason, who hosts the weekly hip-hop podcast No Jumper, says at first he thought the stick-up was a prank.
The hee-hee that I let out is just this bizarre, like, nervous reaction, I guess, because I just couldn't, at that moment, I couldn't imagine that this was seriously happening. It felt like it was a joke.
Pressures, Adam would attempt to rebuild, but where and how? He might try to launch a new platform, perhaps under a different name, attempting to learn from past mistakes and controversies. This new venture could focus on a slightly different niche, adopt a different format, or attempt to cultivate a different kind of community less prone to the specific dramas that have plagued No Jumper. Alternatively, he might pivot entirely to a different type of content creation, perhaps focusing more on personal vlogging, commentary, or other entrepreneurial endeavors, leveraging his existing name recognition and audience base, even if diminished. It's also possible he might seek partnerships or external investment, though the controversies surrounding No Jumper might make finding willing and suitable partners challenging. Adam himself, if faced with discussing such a hypothetical future, might express determination to continue creating content regardless of the platform, emphasizing his connection with his audience and his passion for the online world. He might frame any potential setback not as an ending, but as a necessary evolution or a chance to start fresh, applying the lessons learned from building his initial empire. The very notion of Adam disappearing seems contrary to his public persona, suggesting that even in the face of the most dire hypothetical outcomes, his drive to remain a figure in the online space would likely lead him to attempt a comeback or a reinvention, albeit on different terms. The Adam22 arrested for bankruptcy, goodbye forever headline, while almost certainly a sensationalized exaggeration, serves as a focal point for anxieties and speculations surrounding No Jumper. It encapsulates the fears fueled by public controversies like the Travis Ford incident, the perception of financial strain stemming from a lavish lifestyle and potential legal costs, and the observed trajectory of the platform from its peak influence. It forces a public discussion about the sustainability of a media empire built on the volatile foundations of internet culture, personality-driven content, and hip-hop drama. The constant stream of internal conflicts and external blow-ups creates a climate where even the most dramatic rumors can gain traction, leaving the future of No Jumper and the next moves of Adam to a subject of intense, often dramatic speculation. To stay informed on every twist and turn in this ongoing saga and get the latest insights into the world of internet personalities and online media, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Free, cheap, and generous. Free. Obviously, I'm infinitely thankful to anyone who watches our content at all, follows us on the @NoJumperLA Instagram, and in particular, those of you who drop likes and comments on our videos and Instagram posts. In the long run, that stuff is super helpful. Cheap. We are really trying to get serious about embracing our members here on YouTube. For $5 a month, we've got a ton of awesome benefits, including being able to watch all of our interviews free of censorship and bleeped words, solidly profitable. That is, until the last few months, where we experienced two major L's that we never could have seen coming. First, we lost the No Jumper Instagram. After almost 10 years of building it up and essentially no strikes on our account, we got taken down one day and we still have absolutely no idea why. We've had no luck getting it back despite being in contact with what seems like every Instagram recovery guy on the face of the planet. We were bringing in a very solid amount of cash monthly that was keeping us afloat via selling sponsors. Okay, we have it, fine, it's an investment, but you know, it would feel better to me to be in a space that was realistically, you know, like the room we're in, maybe 2 of the rooms that we're in right now would be enough for me to get by on. And yeah, I've just seen that with a lot of businesses over the years where it really fucks them over when they decide that they want to overinvest into their space, etc. So revealed all that in the video, and I also, there's always acted us. Number one, we have a lawsuit from this disgruntled bitch ass employee, which we're dealing with, which that alone is not going to ruin our year or anything like that, but that's definitely been something that has been costing us a lot of money. We also lost our Instagram for about 7 months, but I do have to say, thanks to that big guy upstairs, we got it back 2 days after I made that video. We got the Instagram back, so that was definitely a consequence of making that video that I kind of foresaw. I actually threw for you to come through here. This is all fun and games. Trust me.
Yeah, no, I wasn't even considering buying No Jumper. This was not a serious conversation. Although a couple people did hit me, like on the street, be like, "Yo, man, you really buy No Jumper?" I'm like, "No, I'm not really buying it." But there are some money problems at No Jumper, which you have revealed publicly, and that was your choice.
Yeah, it's funny seeing people try to dunk on me where it's like, bro, I chose to share this with the world, so clearly I'm not too embarrassed about it.